We've got the driver look around. Where's the rest of the field? I saw Kent have a really good look over the left shoulder there. So there goes our fastest car. Actually, they're the fastest two cars out there at the moment. Actually, Liz Hick's gone to third fastest. We've got Gerard Miller behind him. Gerard Miller in the Plymouth Special. So, in fact, the pass has been made there by Gerard Miller. Goes past the Lindsay Hick car. They're not in a racing sense, but they're certainly showing a bit of a spirited demonstration in this sprint. You can see them coming off of turn. In fact, they're coming down the main straight here. So Gerard Miller leading the field down past the start-finish line here and back down towards turn one. I've just been informed that this live stream is about to go live in just a couple of minutes' time. If you want to watch that on the Facebook page, which of course is the Bent Facebook page, that's where you'll be able to watch this live stream. If you get a chance, or someone you know that's home that wants to watch it, make sure you get them a text message to say if you want to watch the live stream. It's on the Bent Facebook page for the rest of the weekend. Car number 10 there, the Graham McDonough entry there, the Mercedes Targa Florio. That's a pretty little race car, isn't it? And it actually, I think it's actually the fastest car here. Oh, sorry, they're not the fastest, the oldest car here this weekend. Not quite, 1924. We've got one just slightly older than that, but that's right up inside the vintage. You see the spare tyre still out the rear of the car. Just in case you're in mid-race formation, you can just jump out and change your own tyre. That probably won't happen. It's just interesting how they had these cars set up back in the day. So come down to put another lap down. Most of these cars have now completed 3 sprint laps here. So still Miller the fastest car, 162, the dark green Plymouth Special. Good to see a couple of real familiar names here in South Australian motorsport out here in this group. We see him quite a lot at other events. There's Lindsay Hick, another name we see quite often. Those TCs were a very popular race car, certainly in the 1940s and certainly in the 1950s. They were the go-to car back in the day, as far as the sports racing was concerned. Such a popular race car model back in that era. So on our live screens there, that's Gerard Miller. So getting towards this end of this vintage sprint. He's flying around, he's doing a great job. And he's just posted his fastest lap time there, 2:16.327. Kent Patrick has gone up another place there too in Type 37A Bugatti. He's on a 2:17.94, so that's the blue colour, the car number 71. And third fastest on track at this moment is Lindsay Hick. So not too far away. Gerard Miller was pretty fast in the last sprint, so he's keeping his consistent self up here. There he goes. Even on our camera vision there, look how difficult it is to see those cars. You can only imagine what these drivers are seeing on track at the moment. I would suggest not too much. Those visors and those helmets will all be getting steamed up there and frosted up. You probably won't be able to see too much. Just goes past the 91 car, the Dodge Race Special of Stuart Brown. That is by far the oldest car in this group. Gee, that must be an enormous handful of thing to drive. Big tyres. If you've seen the size of the steering wheel on that thing, it's like some sort of tractor. It's a very unusual race car. But that's how it was back in the day. Mm-hmm. So we still got the Graham McDonough Mercedes. The little blue car behind him is car 13. That's Will Semler in the tiny little Austin 7 Special. Another very popular race car back in that era as well. Certainly going back to the 1930s and 40s. So just being passed there by Gerard Miller on screen, because he is the fastest car circulating on track. Oh, got a bit close there down at turn 11. Miller tried to sneak up for the inside there, and Rodonna didn't want too much to do with it. So got a little bit tight down there. So they'll probably get another lap here in this sprint. So Jamar Miller leading the pack through. There he goes. And the Bugatti there at Camp Patrick actually not too far away either, as far as times are concerned. In fact, if you look at the top two, they're starting to dominate the rest of the pack as well. Patrick's actually heading down towards turn 1. The 99 car on screen, the Daniel Rutgers Advanti Formula V. That's by far the most modern car in this group. It's one of our historical Formula Vs. Little 1200cc Volkswagen engine pumping away on the rear of that car. And they're another good car to get wet in, because they are wide open. Look at the spray coming off the top, even off the top of that driver's helmet. It's coming straight off the front wheels of that car. It's just absolutely spraying him dead on in the face there. You wouldn't be able to see a thing what's happening there at the moment. Peter Cundy there on the outside there, Grant Perryman. Peter in that beautiful MJNA. It's one of the earlier MG race cars. Beautifully presented, that beautiful green colour that it got, that silver bottle, all that chrome that's all over the front of that car. It's a real picture. It's done a great job in presentation of that 34. Those cars are side by side as they turn in, and the sun decides to shine just at that very moment. I'm not too sure for how much longer, but we'll see how we go. So the 61 car, in fact, that's checkered flag there to complete that session. Once again, Gerard Miller on top of my timing screen. So not too many changes. .33 on track there is Phil Carter. He's actually 4th fastest on track. That's the yellow on black MGB Roadster. He's gone for the no top option as well. And it doesn't look like Phil's wearing a race suit. It looks like he's just wearing a cotton shirt. So let's have a look. Oh no, he's got a race suit on. But all of a sudden these drivers will all come back, strip them off, and they'll be on coat hangers hanging in front of the door straight away trying to get them dry, because it's going to be awfully wet. So to finish that session, it's Miller, Patrick, Lindsay Hick, the top 3 as I mentioned before, then Phil Carter, car on track there of Daniel Rugers in the Formula V. And then we got Grant Perryman back there into Cooper, Peter Cundy in the MGNA, James Webwood in the Old Singer Special. That's the all silver colour car out there. Stuart Brown, there's the 61 car on song there. That's the Cooper T51 of Grant Perryman behind the wheel. Another popular brand of race car in that era too, Coopers. Not the beer, but the car. Even though they might have gone together at some stage. So that's with Peter Cundy coming in. So checker flag all the way around there for all those cars to finish that session. One car that didn't finish there was David Umloff in the Toyota Special, so I'm not too sure where that car is actually parked up at the moment. He was the first car to come out, and we haven't seen him since. So I was pretty keen to get back into that wet session for our vintage to come through. Good camera shot there of the, look at the sheen across the top of that track there. Look in the background there, the dark clouds that have just gone past us here. Any great view, and you can see us. Look at the go-karts over there. God, they're flat out in that go-kart complex. It's very popular. Something lying on the track there on the exit of turn 12 too. Not too sure what that is, but you can certainly see it on my camera. And that does finish off that session now. What have we got coming up next? We're not going to get, certainly not going to get any Formula One action. I wouldn't afford at the moment. Now it's even wetter than what it was before the lunch break. It's really pretty sticky out there at the moment. Just focus. There's something on the track there. Looks like a bit of exhaust, elbow, or something down there. I'm not too sure what that is. It's fallen off of somebody's car, obviously. So just the last couple of cars that come in. Car on track there. The Austin 7 there, a Wolf Semler. '91 car there, a Stuart Brown. Oh, he gives the crowd a little bit of a wave. Oh, the officials there. What an interesting car that would be to drive. It is the oldest car actually competing here this weekend. So just waiting for the last couple to come back into pits. It takes them a fair while to come around. Taking their time and just putting them back into pit lane. There's a Mercedes of Graham McDonough there. Got the legs right up there. It's a interesting driving style. Okay, so we're just looking to pit lane still closed. See what our next session will be. I'm just following my program here. It should be open sports and racing, and we're not going to see Formula One here, surely not. We might be just postponing that just a little bit more. Just starting to see a bit of sun, which is a good thing. Try and dry some of this circuit out. Just for the moment. Right, we'll have a short break and we'll come back with that next session, whatever that may be.
Service that you'll understand, head to your independent vehicle centre, Hyper Garage, at the Bend Motorsport Park, Tailem Bend. From tyres and wheels to servicing and mechanical, batteries and even body wrapping, Hyper Garage will get your vehicle on the road in its best possible condition, keeping you safe. So for Country SA service with affordable prices, head to Hyper Garage at the Bend Motorsport Park, Tailem Bend.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win 2 automotive icons: a 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, one of America's most iconic performance cars, and a new Chief Dark Horse Indian motorcycle, including up to 12 months Shannon's comprehensive car and bike insurance and roadside assist, plus $5,000 cash for eligible Shannon's Club members. To enter, get an eligible quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike, or home, or take out an eligible new policy for more chances of winning. Call Shannon's on 134646.
Okay, so the group we got here, of course, is Open Sports and Racing. Full of interesting clubman style race cars here and sports cars in this particular group. And it's good to see we've got a couple that didn't make an appearance earlier on this morning in this particular group. And we've got 3. I think that could be 4 cars in just a moment. So the cars that have gone past, Jim Doig, Jim Doig in the Motorlab Asp. Was pretty strong this morning. He's going to be pretty hard to beat in this group. Then we've got Alistair Dow in the Puma Clubman is the 97 car. Dave Bender, car 80 in that extremely low-flying Lola T590, excuse me, which is on the car on track is the 910 car. That's actually Rod Hammond in the second of the Puma Clubmans here in this particular group. Good to see Puma well represented. Cars that originally were manufactured here in Adelaide in South Australia. Actually, their factory was based at Blackwood, and that's where they started producing these little Puma Clubmans, basically powered by usually an SR20 Nissan motor, and they were a very highly productive style of clubman. There's the 97 car, the other club in the group. Alistair Dow, that is a serious weapon too. Another car that we've seen here at this event beforehand, and we knew how quick it was. And I think it ended up in a shootout here at a previous classic meeting. But that Puma Clubman on track, keep a very close eye on that car because that's a serious car. There's Dave Bender in the Lola. Very different style of car as well. It's extremely low to the track there. The rear end of the driver is virtually an inch off the tarmac, and you virtually sit out straight-legged in the car, legs pointed right in the direction looking for the pedals. So it's an interesting position you sit in that particular car. So down the main straight there is Jim Doig in the Motorlab Asp. He's a wily old customer and he's an expert here, and he doesn't mind a bit of wet weather either. I've seen him beforehand. Looks like he's got his wet weather set up going quite nicely at the moment. But you can see, look at the mist at the back of the cars in my live footage there. He's heading down towards turn 1. Down beyond the tyre barrier goes Jim Doig in the 39 Motorlab Asp. As mentioned before, another Adelaide-built production as well. So Adelaide-based cars well represented in this particular group. They, of course, were built in Alpha Street in Prospect here in South Australia. So the name became Alpha, became ASP, so it became Alpha Street Productions, straight out of the same people that actually built bus coaches at the time, decided to make a few of these Ass clubmen back in certainly in the early 1970s region. And they were a very popular, certainly club car at the time. Jim Doig, this is still the same car he's had since about 1974 as well. So he's had it a very long time, and it actually has accumulated over 1,000 race starts in that particular race car. And trust me, knowing Jim Doig, every last stat will be written in his notebook, and every single adjustment he does in his race car at every single meeting. He's very precise in what he does, and he's a real expert. He's a real front runner as far as full-blown racing is concerned. This is obviously in sprint format, but he's a real wily veteran here in SA Motorsport. So he's just trying to get a couple of laps down here. Dave Bender's had enough after one lap. He's already straight in the pits. So now we're left with just the 3 cars. Jim Doig's second sprint lap there, 1:57.46. There's a shot of our pit lane. Look at the spectators overhanging the balconies there. Give us a wave, you're on live stream. There you go. Have a decent look at yourself there as you come down the main straight. And we head down to turn 1 again. Our clubmen are all heading down there. So I thought Alistair Dow might have been a bit closer, so we'll have a look. That's the Rod Hammond Puma clubman. That's the second of the Pumas in the field. Clubmen's are a very specialist type of race car here, and you see them a lot of them at club meetings in different form. Westville Clubman is a very popular make as well. We see a lot of them in South Australian events as well. And they're a great car if you ever get a chance to maybe even be a passenger in and sit right alongside the driver, because they're pretty compact. I certainly have had that opportunity. The Elvins were another one that made a pretty good clubman. So there's Jim Doig on track at the moment, car number 39. He's really starting to dominate and doesn't mind the wet weather. We're talking about this car before. It's virtually been unchanged livery-wise, and the way it's been set up from day one since Jim's had it. So still going through its paces. There's Alistair Dow behind the 97. There's another guy that's achieved a lot in motorsport here in SA as well, and very good at hill climbing. He's done a fair bit of that and a lot of level 2 motorsports. We don't see Alistair quite as often as what we used to, but he's certainly a fierce competitor and should be in this field. Him and Jim Doig should be the lead pair, no doubt about that. So there's the little clubman. There's had a bit of a colour change since the last time. I think it's got more silver in it actually since I've last seen it on the bodywork there. So looking across towards turn 1, nice green pastures out there towards the north. Live stream, and going back to our 91 car there, a Rod Hammond. In the 910 car, that's a super large number. I think there's a big number on that car. So he's coming in. You see just a few dry lines just starting to appear there in the main straight, certainly in towards turn 12. But you can still see when they head back down towards the north there, towards the turn 1 precinct, still plenty of water. A couple of drive lines on the tracks there. You can just see them going through the sheen there across the tarmac. Just trying for some better weather conditions. We may not see any Formula 1 action at all today, unfortunately. So hopefully we can try and get a bit of sun here. Still looking down, there's Jim Doig, currently fastest car on track. He did a 1:57.005 on his previous sprint lap. So he's well in front. He's got Alistair Dow's second fastest, 2:04.03. And here he comes now in the Motor Lab Asp, straight down the main straight to put another lap down. That's his 4th sprint lap, and his quickest as well. So 1:55.57. And Alistair Dow, currently the car on our camera screen. Unfortunately, just the 3 cars in circulation here. Scatters a couple of galahs down there at turn 11. And then back into turn 12 again. Unfortunately, Dave Bender was not too interested in putting in too many laps in the wet, so he's already in the pits. So there won't be any changes here at the moment. Jim Doig, his previous lap was still his fastest. And then Rod Hammond back in third position. He's back in the 2:15, so he's quite considerably slower than the top 2 here. And that's the Puma Clubman just coming down here at the moment. Doig again. It's interesting to look at. Sometimes we have a lot of different sites with old motorsport old motorsport photographs on a couple of social media sites, and it's funny. Some of them go back quite back to the 70s and 80s, and Jim Doig actually features in quite a few of those photos. So and he's still going today. So, and I can tell you what, the car has not changed a bit. It's still yellow. It's still got the red stripes. Nothing's changed about it at all, so very familiar car around here in South Australian motorsport circles. So we're down into 30 minutes of elapsed here in our sprint for our open sports and racing. Certainly no changes at the moment. I don't think, in fact, Jim Doig there, 1:53.53. He just did that on his previous lap there, on his 5th sprint lap. So he's gone quicker again. Don't think Alistair Dow hasn't improved on his time. He seems to be just struggling a little bit, trying to find that little bit of grip out there. Just coming into turn 12 as well. Just to wind down this particular sprint. A couple of spectators sitting on the infield grandstand there. That's a great spot to be watching motorsport here at this complex. Get up really nice and close to the cars down there in that particular section. So here he comes, fastest car on track. Still Jim Doig. Gives a bit of a look around. Has a big look in the left-hand mirror just to see where Dowell has positioned himself. He won't be able to see anyone behind him. And heading down the hill, down the little dip there, and you got up the rise there to turn 11. Nice, big, sharp right-hander down there at turn 11. And he's about to come in to my view again. So no changes here from Jim Doig, still coming and circulating around. Only interest here really is to see, in fact, he's put the hand up and he's called it a day. That's it. He's put the hand up and Jim's had enough of this. And he's come straight into the pits. So checker flag has been shown here. So it will be Jim Doig on top there with a 1:53.53. Alistair Dow, who's done a 2:04.03. And that's it. Rod Hammond back to the 2:08.256. And they're the only 3 cars that have run in that sprint, and it's starting to rain again, unfortunately. I can see some drops just starting to appear in my windows up here in my commentary position. So, and by the reaction of the crowd there, I suggest that's the case. And there you go. You can see our there we go. There's our live camera shots. And certainly rain is now falling again. Unfortunately, here it's going to be making it tough for our Formula 1 and open wheeler guys, because that's not going to improve their hopes at all of trying to get any track time in here today. Having a quick look inside of our pits from our live feed. On our screen, there's not too much movement there. So while we get our next group out, I'll just have a quick short break. And we'll see what we can bring out next. Possibly should be a historic sports sedans. We shouldn't mind these conditions too badly, so we'll come back with those in just a moment. Okay, now it's one of the favourites on the list here. We've got Historic Sports Sedans. And they're also going to be out in the trying conditions here. And so far, 8 cars have come back on the track. Oh, we've got one in the wall right in front of us here too. Just as I look down, I've got an 05 Marlboro Commodore heading absolutely sideways right down in front of us here.
150 years,
I don't know if we can pick up any footage of that, but I just caught the side of it. It was absolutely leaning right up against the concrete barrier right in front of pit lane here.
We build for the creators.
I'm just trying to pick up
the achievers and
where it's come out. It's right underneath my viewing position here, so I can't actually see it, but there it is. Let's have a look. So that's the Larry Kavanagh Commodore. Oh, that's got damage all over the front of it. You can see it when it just turned in. They're going to have to... So basically it was a power down situation at turn 12 on the opening lap, and edge to edge, he's just pointed that straight towards the concrete barrier right down in front of me. And he's clobbered it good. I could see the front corner of that car not looking very well at all, just as it disappeared into the grass. Well, that's a shame. So we won't be seeing too much of that car for a little while. It's probably not the cosmetic damage you worry about, it's also the front wheel damage that's probably sustained there. So we'll try and get some reports on that car a little later. We'll come back to our Historic Sports Sedans on track and see a few of these just taking it easy. And you see the little red, white and blue Datsun 510 over there at turn 11. Mark Hay behind the wheel. He won the last sprint here in leaps and bounds. That's the 94 car on my screen. The Mark Harris there and the Datsun 1200. Datsun's a very popular form of body for these particular sports sedans. Obviously extremely lightweight. They're a very good mid-mounted car, mid-engine car, of course. They seem to have plenty of room in the middle of those cars to put the engines, and they were very popular. That's been a very successful Datsun, that car, Mark Haig. That's won plenty of silverware to put on the mantelpiece over quite a period of time. And it looks like he's going to be a strong contender here to take out these historic sports sedan sprints here over the weekend. Cars on my screen at the moment. Got the car there of Charlie Carter. That's the little Ford Anglia there. Car number 37. It still has the original fruit and veg livery on that particular car. You see the Mick written across the top of the windscreen there. That's actually, of course, the ex-Monterosso car who went on to compete in sports sedans for quite a number of years. In fact, we might remember the big giant killing Mark II Ford Escort. They ran a massive 6-litre Chev engine in that car, which is still racing today. Probably not seen so much in that particular form, but that's a car that's you would have seen, if you're old enough to remember, would have seen it certainly at places like IAR or International Raceway in Adelaide, at Virginia. That would have been a pretty popular place to go to see that particular car. Anglia is also a bit like the Datsuns of the era, a bit, well, not quite the same era, but era before, but the same thing. Lots of room. They can put a mid-mounted engine in those cars quite comfortably. Once again, lightweight. That's what sports sedan racing's all about. It's about having hardly any bodywork and putting the biggest horsepower you could possibly fit in there without breaking anything. That was another thing too. Some of these things were that highly strung, things snapped pretty quickly and things went terribly wrong. Discs are a good thing to blow up in these cars, so probably quite a few end up in the scrap heap over a long period of time. So there's the Mark Haig car, little giant killing Datsun on screen at the moment. Currently our fastest car on track. Actually haven't had any official time just come up at the moment, but certainly the Matt Richards Commodore is also headed for the pits as well. So that's another one of the Commodores that's not going to play in the wet conditions here. It's the Mark Harris entry there. He's gone for the Kermit green colour for this weekend. Looks like he might be missing a headlight too. There's a bit of an eye patch going on there in that car. Oh, there's the Richards Commodore there. I just saw it in the pit lane. It's just down towards the end. It's parked in a bit of a precarious position there. I'm not sure what it's doing there, but Just looking across our other section, there's Haig again. You can see track conditions still extremely wet here. And look at the water coming out from underneath that car. Be really struggling for any sort of grip there. And that little giant killing Datsun. Fastest cars on track. Mark Haig is on a 209.75. And the 5 car, which was the other one of the Commodores out there, of Martin Reynolds. That's the mobile livered car that's on track at the moment. Just in front of my timer screen, but I think that's about to change pretty soon. Graham Schill, good time in there too, 2:10.68. So that's the little orange GT XU1 Tirana that's on track. I told you to keep a close eye on that particular car because that's going to be very competitive right to the end as well. Graham's currently heading down into turn 6 and 7. That's the bright orange XU1 Tirana with the big flare guards and headlights are well ablaze there. Trying to get through the misty conditions. So there it is. There's the Schill car I was just talking about. So not too far off the pace either. If you can keep the pace up, this car will be very good in dry conditions, obviously. We saw it here last year and it went leaps and bounds. They did a great job. So Graham Schill just heading down towards turn 11 there. It's a great looking XU1. So you see him come in, he'll have the headlights on high beam as he comes in. There he goes. And he's got the Martin Reynolds Commodore just behind him, the mobile livered VL Commodore. Another one of those tribute liveries that we've seen a fair bit over this weekend. In fact, he's going to go past Shills there and fill his windscreen up with more mist, probably more than what he needs. So Mark Haig's gone to the top. He's done a 2:02.27. Now that's some serious stuff in these conditions. Car on my screen, car 78, that's Neil Martin. Little TR7 Triumph there. Another car with a huge power plant in there, like a lot of these British marques. The 3.5 litre V8 was the popular choice of weaponry. And I always used to think that a lot of the lightweight British sports cars it was always like they put the motor in and then built the car around it, trying to make it fit because there's not a lot of room underneath the hoods of those cars. I've got that little compact V8 motor packed in there nice and tight. So Mark Haig now dominating here in the Datsun 510. He's up and away here. Charlie Carter, fastest time for previous lap as well, 2:07.47. So that's the yellow Ford Anglia on track. On screen there of Martin Reynolds. And there's a car we haven't seen too much of either on our screen there. That's Chris Burns in the super cool Datsun 260Z. Isn't that an iconic shape? Remember when Datsun were trying to get in the 1970s, trying to get into the sports car market here in that particular era. And I actually knew someone that owned one of those back in that era too, many years ago when I was a much younger person than what I am today. And tell you what, there wasn't a lot of room in them either. They were pretty compact at the time. Charlie Carter just coming in with the Mick windscreen there. And then, of course, the Mick Monterosso. There's that Datsun again of Chris Burns. Now, he's currently 5th fastest on track. Not doing too bad. 2:11's there, his fastest time. Here's our fast cars. Oh, looks like we've got another car come on. It looks like the XA Falcon coming out there. A couple of other cars coming out. This must be from the next group. So there's a couple of other cars. That looks like the Atkins car that's come on track there as well. So let's have a look at our fastest car on screen at the moment. Still Mark Haig. Here he goes. So, and he's done a 1:57.14. Gee, that's like 5 seconds a lap faster than his previous lap. So he's certainly got him by certain anatomies at the moment. So he's really dominated. I tell you what, Barton Reynolds has done a great job in that Commodore as well, car 5. It's there's the XA Falcon there, which is supposed to be in the next group. So I'm not too sure what's happening with that car. Still got Chris Burns behind him. So just getting towards the end of this session. Martin Reynolds in the Holden Commodore, a 2:02.73. That's kind of where Haig was earlier in the sprint there. So that car's times has also come down quite considerably there as well. So the XA Falcon's pulled in. I think he's in the wrong group. I think we want to get rid of him just for the moment. It's, of course, his historic sports sedans. Chris Burns just goes through to complete, which would be his 5th sprint lap there. And that's the Commodore I'm talking about. There's Martin Reynolds there, the 5 car in the Tribute Mobile Livered VL Commodore. And he's doing a great job in the wet too. When you look at our timing screen there, he's starting to really dominate in second position. He's starting to get away from Charlie Carter. And that's a Monaro, which is not on my timing screen either. That's the next group. Now from our classic production group there by the looks of things. So they actually haven't come up on my timing screen at all. So checker flag at the ready by the sound of the thing. In fact, 15 minutes has progressed there. Mark Haig has just gone quicker. So Mark Haig will finish up with a 1:55.97. 1:55.97. So where is the little Datsun on track at the moment? He must be over the back of the circuit somewhere. See if we can pick him up in just a moment. There he is, just coming down towards the entry of turn 6. I told you that thing was a rocket, but he's not only beat him in this sprint, he's licked him. He's absolutely licked him there. He's got him, he's absolutely killed them. What an amazing piece of machinery. And a good job from Martin Reynolds, who's just heading into the pits as I speak. We're looking at our live feed. He finishes up with a 2:02.73. And here he comes. I'll tell you what, doing 1:55s in these conditions in a car like that is just extraordinary. That's mind-blowing stuff. Car 15 there. I'll track this in the next group as well. Coming out for a bit of a warm-up. Got Graham Schill just behind him. You see the orange Tirana. And the 13 car, and Haig's just coming up behind him. He's still on a full sprint lap as well. So those cars are for the next group. They've already got in an early warm-up lap, if you want to call it that. But here he comes. So our sprint winner there, Mark Haig, just coming across to collect the checkered flag. Has he finished off on a good note? By hell he has. 1:55.66. So he's gone quicker again. Man, he's driving that thing like it's a dry track. That's incredible. So Reynolds, as I mentioned, in second position there. And Charlie Carter just put in a quick one there. 2:06 neat. 2:06 for Charlie Carter in the Anglia. And Chris Burns picked up another position too. Got him up into 4th position. As far as times are concerned, 4th fastest is at 2:07.44. So not too far behind him was the orange XU1 there, Graham Schill. 2:08.99, so not too far away at all. And we go back to Mark Harris in the Datsun, Neil Martin in the Triumph. He's back in the 2:20 sector, and a couple that didn't finish. Matt Richards and the Commodore, and unfortunately Larry Kavanagh never got a lap in at all. And that car's parked up on the grass just on the end of pit exit there. Unfortunately, that car's they're going to get that up on the hoist and try and sort out any issues of damage. Nice good look at our pit lane there. See how wet it is down just in front of me here. That's Neil Martin just coming into the pit lane. So as you would expect, dominating performance there from Mark Haig. So that does complete that sprint. Now let's have a look to see what's coming up on our screen this time. Word is that we're going to try and give you some Formula One action here, maybe towards the end of the day. I've just had a quick look at my weather radar. It looks to be kind of thinning out a bit, so we might be lucky enough to get into session with our F1s here today. But it's been pretty trying conditions up to now. So next group should be, I would suggest, Classic Production. They're already down in a couple of the cars are already down into pit lane, so they've already got a couple of early laps in. Here at the Bend Motorsport Park here for the Bank Classic for 2021. Hope you're enjoying what's been happening around. Lots of activities and displays happening certainly around the complex. Plenty of car displays, and especially in the front floor of the Welcome Centre there. They've changed that around to put some more displays in there and some interesting vehicles on display there as well. Tomorrow being Father's Day, if Dad hasn't got too much to do tomorrow and he loves racing cars, this is probably the place to bring him. Maybe shout him a lunch in the Fuel Restaurant Bar. Certainly a great day out. Of course, it's only still the $10 to get in here, so you're looking forward to a great day tomorrow as we sort of get towards the end of our day one program here. But we are hoping to get Formula One action happening here sometime. It could be possibly the last event of the day, but obviously we need a dry track for those cars, and if we don't get that, it probably won't happen. Well, it won't happen. So while we have a bit of a track clean-up, there's a bit of debris just down here on the pit wall here, obviously from the Kavanagh car to pick up. And so while that's all happening, we'll just have a short break in proceedings, and then we'll be back with our Classic Production group.
Got someone subscribing.
So he's got the Wilson car in front of you. He'll get past him and in the blink of an eye, just down there at turn 7, and that'll just come into our shot. There he is. All over the back, so the two Commodores going at it at the moment. The problem with Atkins here is he's trying to get faster and faster, and he's getting held up a little bit there in that section. No problems about petting past Dave Wilson there. He's managed to do that quite comfortably. So, what are we at? The 12-minute mark here of this session. There's got to be a bit of a story behind this Atkins car because that is a serious weapon. Just watch how he turns in again. Oh, he turns it in beautifully at 12. He hasn't missed the beat of that section for this whole event. And what's he done this time? No, slightly slow because he got held up in traffic there on the back part of the circuit. So, but he's got no one in front of him this time. Well, that's the Dwayne Langman arrow we can see in our shot. It's got a few panels on a different colour. Looks like it might be ready for the paint shop pretty soon. Ooh, white nose on the front of that car. Ooh, a little bit twitchy too. Just on the exit of 7. Just this sort of the camera shot there. So the RX-7 behind you there, Barry Greenham. He's it's the first time we've seen him all weekend. The little yellow RX-7 just chasing him down the back of the circuit there. But he's a bit further down our timing screen at the moment. Dwayne Lang's actually at the bottom of our list. That's the blue Monaro, or blue and white Monaro on our screen. Peter Gazzard did his fastest lap too in that previous lap, 1:44.36. It's actually got him in a pretty strong second position there. Oh, a car backwards down here at turn 12. And that's the Greenham RX-7. There it is. Gee. Just a nice little loop there. Probably trying to get out of the way of the scary Rob Atkins Commodore. And no wonder, he's just gone quicker again. Now he's at a 1:38.12. Holy jeez, he's away. I don't know. I think he might have scared Barry there for a minute. Big black Commodore coming up beyond the RX-7 there. Goodness me. No doubt track conditions have slightly, you can see on that camera shot there, just a bit of a dry line just starting to appear. And so getting us up, maybe the last lap of this sprint. Fast time there, Dave Wilson has picked up another position too in third position, 1:49.69. This has put Randall Worry back in the XA backer position. So the mobile livered Commodore has picked up another spot there, just inside of that lap. And the XA there of Worry has come back into the pits as well. So Graham Rugers has also picked up a spot at 1:56.9. So he's got in front of Peter Kruger there as well. Peter Kruger out there in the Just Cars livered Monaro. So checker flag has just been announced here, so that's the end of that particular session. And once again, Rob Atkins there. And here he comes, he's showing him a clean pair of heels. Here he comes. Right in the wet stuff too, he loves it. And he's gone quicker again, so he's done a 1:37.93. 1:37.93. He's finally broken the 1:38 barrier for the first time today. And as he turned it down here at turn 12, he deliberately went in the wet side of the road. It's almost like he enjoyed it. Well, all the other drivers have been trying to avoid it. But Atkins there, yeah, no worries about his wet driving skills. He loves it. So Peter Gazzard in second position in the Yaris. So 1:44.36 his best time. Dave Wilson was fair effort. He'll finish up in third position there, that particular sprint, 1:49.69. Wild Worry was going third. He was going pretty strong there for a while, but he's gone back to fourth there, 1:56.22. And Graham Ruger's picked up another position too. Take him up overall fifth fastest there, 1:56.9. Then we go back to Peter Kruger, Barry Greenham in the RX-7, and Dwayne Lang in the second of those Monaros there. Is the eighth fastest, or bottom of our timing screen. But there's the man. Has he a talking point or what? Rob Atkins. That driver-car combination has been ultra impressive. And it couldn't have been more impressive in that particular event. But that is one serious kid of Commodore. So car number 600 to bring him back in. And you'll bring that straight. Oh, a little bit of a tail out too. He's a bit of showmanship there just to finish off, just to come back into pit lane. And he'll go straight back out the back because, of course, he's parked up behind the back of the main complex here. Like a lot of these support categories are here this weekend. Now, we should have Modern Sports to be our next sprint. And hopefully, we've got our fingers crossed here that we can see some open wheel of Formula One action coming our way. Just from where I'm standing up here, high above the building, I can see some certain dry lines just starting to appear on the track. You can sort of see them certainly on the turn into turn 12 where I'm looking across. Not quite so distinctive probably heading towards turn 1, even though it's starting to just fade off a bit, but it still looks quite damp there. So we'll see how we go after another class goes through. Maybe it may be good enough for a last-ditch effort for our Formula Ones. But that's Peter Kruger. And he's bought, that's the other car he bought, the 141 car. I was looking for the Just Cars entry, but I did forget that he actually bought two cars here instead of one. So it's the 141 entry there. The high quality entry coming through. Peter Kruger, a pretty busy man in SA Motorsport. And he's put that back in the pits as well. Yeah, I can hear some things getting fired up down there. So we'll just have to wait a moment with the quick track inspection. I'm trying to see what cars they're going to bring out next here. And we'll come back with some more information in just a moment. Okay, so we've got now Modern Sports on track at the moment, so let's get a little bit quicker here. And it's good to see we've got a couple of extra cars from the earlier session today on track at this very moment. Obviously, Mark Rosser, the man to beat in the sprints in the Audi R8 GT3, which is the car just coming back around pointing towards me at turn 9, and there it is. Actually, I think that's the Paul Russo car. Oh, sorry, that's the Smoker car, actually car 11. That's the GT3 LMS. And the R8's already gone down in front of me. Still plenty of water on the surface. You can see the rooster tail of mist still coming out the back of that R8. Certainly when they head down into turn 1 from my vantage point here. But there is a little bit of sun. So that's on a good note. Car on track on our screen, car number 15 there of a long-time GT competitor in Keith Wong. Back in the Porsche here this weekend. And good to see him back out. He's a pretty familiar character amongst GT racing here in South Australia. So good to see Keith back behind the Porsche, the 997 Cup car. Car on track, or on our screen there, Kevin Weeks in the full GT40. Great to see Kevin Weeks back on track, back at a track and back in a race car. We're pretty familiar to seeing him within the Superlot coloured car, and it's a fantastic race car. It's a car that's been involved with some pretty serious accidents as well. In fact, he's headed in. And the other car, the Ferrari 458 Challenge car there. Oh, Paul Russo also headed for the pits as well. As they see the two cars coming down pit lane. Just following each other through, so not too sure what the issue was there. So just cars coming in there. Very distinctive Italian livery there of the Rosso car. So heading in, so we've lost 2, so we go back to 6 cars on track. Car on screen at the moment, Keith Wong. One of the, in the Veloce Motorsport entry, one of the older spec 997 Cup cars. So it's the car we haven't seen him in for a little while, even though Keith has competed in a variety of different cars over the years. Certainly Porsches, certainly in the recent time frame of things. Oh, gee, very twitchy too on the exit of 11. Didn't quite straighten up quite as good as you would have expected. So Keith Wong coming down the main straight here. Man to beat, of course, Mark Rosser in the Audi R8. Of course, done a 1:33.69. That car just heading down towards turn 10. There it is in our camera shot. So, nice bright colour scheme in that car as well. It's done a great job of, I think it's Incahurst is actually the livery on that car. He turns that car in. He's got a couple of cars in front of him of Todd Carruthers in the WRX, and then the other car there, I think that might have been the Chris Cheeseman car, was the other one of the Evos there in that group. Yeah, there they are. You can see them now in our camera shot. And so Mark Ross is trying to pull it past there between the two battling Evos there. There they are. In fact, that one's a Subaru, the other car that was involved there. So that's actually Todd Carruthers in the Subaru car number 46. Day Smoker quicker again. So the second of the Audis, that's the GT3 LMS Audi there. So he's gone to a 1:34.06. Gee, that's nice and close and handy. That's not put him too far behind there of Mark Rosser. So keep a close eye on that 11 car. There's the 17 car. That's the fastest car, in fact, but only, oh, he went wide there. So where is he? Down at 7. So there was no sort of grip or traction down there at that section. And he's gone a little bit wide there to probably mar his time somewhat. So let's see who else has come back on track. Frank Vasounis was the other car. We saw that in an earlier event, but didn't cut in too many laps. So that's another car that has joined us back on track. And also the other one there is car 20. There's another hard charger, Mark Rundle. So that's in the Evo 8RS. That's another very fast race car too in that Japanese brand. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We saw that perform pretty well here last year. So good to see those cars making an appearance for the first time this weekend. Chris Cheeseman is another one in the Evo 7 that's headed for the pits as well. And he's not going to be the only one by the looks of things, because I think that's Mark Rundle just heading for the same section. So obviously some sort of issues early there, unfortunately. So he's in the pits, couldn't even get a lap in. So for Mark Rundle there. So then we're now back to just the 5 cars. Car on track there is, or car on our screen there is Keith Wong. Currently third fastest car on track, but he's got 2 very angry Audis out there at the moment. And they're really matching times. In fact, Keith has got Mark Rosser approaching very quickly down into side of turn 11. So Keith will be keeping a very close eye on his rear vision mirror there. Here he goes, Keith now, see if he can improve on his time. He's at a 1:49.3, given a 1:45 on the previous lap. So slightly held up there at the moment. Still plenty of water down this main straight. You can see it just pouring at the back of that Audi as it headed down that turn 1 section. Car 11, Dave Smoker in the GT3 LMS Audi. Very distinctive Audi livery on that particular car, currently second fastest. In fact, Mark Ross has done a 1:31.48 on that sprint lap. So he's kind of stamped his authority somewhat there. And just waiting for Dave Smoker to go through. He has gone a touch slower, so still back in the 1:34s. Look at the water there. You can still see plenty of water on track. We're trying to get these Formula Ones out for our next event, folks. That's what we're hoping for. So we want to see plenty of sun. But still a lot of water still lying around in this circuit. Also there, you can just see on our screen a bit more water kicked up there at turn, which is turn 10. So Mark Rosser, our fastest car on track in car number 17, so the Audi R8 GT3. They are a serious race car, I can tell you. And we see that certainly put in motion here at the bend here this weekend. So you can see the dry line there on screen, but it just falls away the further they get down the straight here. And have a look at the camera shots there. See it there? Plenty of water still there. That's going to hinder our chances of seeing the F1 cars there, unfortunately. Yeah. Sort of get down the other half of the straight, there's still plenty of water on track. And now we've got the Paul Russo Ferrari 458 Challenge back on track. Come in for a couple of adjustments there and come back out on track once again. Great to see that car come back in that super looking livery. You couldn't get more Italian than that, Ferrari in those colours. So the 88 colour of Paul Russo. We've seen him here at previous classic events as well. Hasn't quite been on pace so far today, but he's had some pretty stiff competition. Just heading down the main straight here again. So, geez, a lot of noise underneath me there. I'm not too sure what that noise was, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's have a look at our screen here. Cars across the... Well, we've got a slowing car there. That's the WRX there of Todd Carruthers. He's just put in his fastest lap. And unfortunately, he's got a problem, or he's just letting maybe David Smoker just go past him there in the 11 car. but still Mark Rosser on top. So he's still the man to beat in this sprint. In fact, Vasunas is another one that pitted too. He didn't get teased, had some issues too early on in this event. Got Chris Cheeseman also back out there. I can see the Eva over there with the green wheels, so he's back out there circulating again after coming into the pits. See if Smoker can improve his time. And he hasn't quite. So his fastest time of 1:33.91 there for Dave Smoker. Well, they're not going to get Mark Rosser here, I don't think. Just getting towards the end of this event. There's that water still lying on the track there. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with these Formula Ones, but there's still lots of lying water around this circuit. Here's the Cheeseman car. Been having a few problems too. He's already had a pretty serious spin also in the previous event as well. But he's well down the list, has only completed one lap in this whole event, and he's also headed straight for the pit, so still some issues with that particular car. And Mark Rosser there, a 1:29.78. 1:29.78. So obviously track conditions is really starting to improve here, because he hasn't been able to get under the 1:30 so far this weekend. But that was a pretty serious lap. So car 17 gets further in front here. Todd Carruthers there in the WRX. Looks to be circulating a little bit slower as well. Even though he is third fastest on our list there, 1:38.103. So he got in front of Keith Wong, pushed him back to fourth fastest on our list there. Keith Wong with a 1:40.27. So checker flag is about to be dropped here. Dave Smoker's completed his sprint. Did his fastest lap on that final lap too, 1:31.67. But that's not going to be quick enough for the man at the moment. Mark Rosser just coming down to turn 11. And also to post not only the fastest time in this class for the weekend so far, but his fastest time also. So that was a pretty serious lap, that previous lap there from Mark Rosser. And just coming down into turn 12, and here he comes. So he'll win that sprint. And also go quicker again. So 1:29.23. So track conditions just slowly starting to improve, but there's still lying water on this track. So we've only got the F1s left, so we're just going to wait and see what we're going to get the nod of approval, or it's just trying conditions at the moment. Okay, so just coming back to our previous event there, so the phone always rings at an awkward time. So, but I had a very important message come through. If you're the owner of a red R6 Ford Falcon, red colour, Could you please attend to your vehicle, please? S905 BWD. Apparently there's a child actually sleeping in the back seat of that car unattended. So if you want to get there and maybe attend to that straight away, otherwise some other authorities might be called. So if you are the owner of a red Falcon, S905 BWD, can you go to your car immediately, please?
For 150 years, BF Goodrich has been building for you. What are you building for?
Okay, so what's happening here, it's going to have a short delay here just for a moment. We haven't finished the program just yet. What we're going to try and do is try and drive this track manually as much as we possibly can. We're trying to get some F1 action. That's what you've come to pay your ticket and come and see, but we haven't seen any of them today, unfortunately, because of the conditions. We're just going to have a short delay here for a while we try and manually drive this track, even though some patches aren't looking too bad. And some of the track is not too good. So it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. But we're going to try our best and endeavour to try and drive this track as much as possible. So please be patient.
Years, everything has changed.
And we'll try and give you some high
Goodrich
revving engines ready to scream down this main straight around this circuit at the Bend Motorsport Park. We get all the person on track trying to squeegee the track off.
The workers.
So don't go anywhere just yet. We're just trying to give it our best shot.
BF Goodrich has been building for you. What are you building for?
Don't get the runaround with all the mechanical jargon and rigmarole. For good old South Australian service that you'll understand, head to your independent vehicle centre, Hyper Garage, at the Bend Motorsport Park, Tailem Bend. From tyres and wheels to servicing and mechanical, batteries and even body wrapping, Hyper Garage will get your vehicle on the road in its best possible condition, keeping you safe. So for Country SA service with affordable prices, head to Hyper Garage at the Bend Motorsport Park, Tailem Bend.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win 2 automotive icons: a 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, one of America's most iconic performance cars, and a new Chief Dark Horse Indian motorcycle, including up to 12 months Shannon's comprehensive car and bike insurance and roadside assist, plus $5,000 cash for eligible Shannon's Club members. To enter, get an eligible quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike, or home, or take out an eligible new policy for more chances of winning. Call Shannon's on 134646.
And dry this track out as much as possible so we can put on a really good fast Formula 1 and open wheeler show for you. I don't think we're too far away here. So within the last 5 minutes, I think we're not going to be too far away at all. Just doing a final track inspection by the sounds of things. We're not going to be too far away. In a minute, I think the word is that Craig Lowndes is going to come out first. He wants to take some live in-car footage, so we'll see if that occurs. Craig being our special guest here this weekend as a part of the Classic here at the Bend this year. As we mentioned, we haven't seen anything of these fast open wheelers. This is what there's on the front of their programs and what you come to pay your money for, just like the old days of Formula 1 like they used to be in the streets of Adelaide. And a lot of these cars that are about to come out have appeared at that event as well. And if you've got your official program here for your Gold Coin donation, you notice there's a couple of stories on a couple of those cars, a couple of profiles on those cars as well. One of those is actually the one that Craig Lowndes is actually making an appearance in here. It'll be the first one you see enter the track. And of course the other one is the Benetton as well. We probably should be driven by Sam Shahin, I believe. Two very serious Cosworth race cars out there at the moment. Well, we'll be in a moment. Just see the course car just heading out for a final look in here. So if you're sticking around, you've been waiting all day. I know the weather conditions have been pretty average, but this is the driest I've seen this track look all day. Well done to the officials there to try and get this done. Been there working as hard as they can to get it a nice, decent, dry line in here. So we're about to hear some very distinctive sounds in just a moment or two. There's also a mixture of other cars in this group as well, not only Formula 1s, of course. We've got the Formula Toyotas as well also involved in this group. The Super 5000 is also involved in this group as well. And of course we've got the Rolt R4 as well as another interesting car that's involved with this group we'll talk about in just a moment. Even though it's a little bit of silence just for the moment, but we want to see if we can hear some noise come from our pit garages down below to signify that we're going to be well up and away in a few moments' time. So I can hear some noise now. Sounds like they're starting to fire up these open wheelers. Course car should be ready to exit the circuit here. And that's done exactly that. So eagerly awaiting here. Everyone's getting into all their vantage points. We've been waiting all day for this. Conditions haven't been kind to us up here, but this is their big chance. A big thanks to all the officials out there to try and get this show on the road, try and get this track as dry as possible. I tell you what, it's not looking too bad from my point up here. So just waiting for some noise. Very distinctive high revving Formula 1 engines. I'm going to hear them at full noise going straight down this big long 1 kilometre straight here at the Bend Motorsport Park, screaming at their high pitch density. A lot of people that are old enough to remember and went to Formula 1 back will never forget the distinctive sound. But there's certainly some activity below me now. I can hear the rumbles. Things are getting fired up and we're not too far away at all. Just been streamed on Facebook and down the main straight here in our live feed, which has been streamed on Facebook this weekend. through the Bend Motorsport Park Facebook page. So if you catch up with all the action, and you can't be here tomorrow, that's where you're going to catch all the action. But everyone's going to be here tomorrow. Father's Day tomorrow. We wish the fathers the best of days. Make sure you bring Dad Eddie tomorrow, because if he's a motorsport fan and Formula One fan, this is going to be the place to bring him. Just feeling a bit of tension in the air at the moment. We're just waiting for something to happen and roll out onto the circuit. Certainly a lot of people moving around down in the other end of pit lane, where most of the Formula Ones are situated. See the cameras down the southern end of the pits as well. Oh, waiting for the, look at all the heads overlooking the balcony, looking conspicuous. Where are they? Waiting for him to stick the nose cones out here. No appearances just yet. That sounds a bit more distinctive at the moment. I've got a headset on, I can hear it as clear as day. And here they come. Cars on track. Here we go, folks. Let's make some distinctive noise now. We'll get them a couple of laps in. Here it is. There's Lowndes. There's Craig Lowndes sitting in that Dallara. That's going to be his drive here this weekend. Looking around. Not often we see Craig in an open wheel these days. He's going to go back to basics a little bit. Obviously, one of our supercar champs here in Australia. It's Mark Rundle there giving you some final instructions. And he's away. So in the Dallara he goes. So the full Cosworth V8 engine has been put into full motion in just a moment. Let's have a look to see the cars we've got on track. Being led around by Matt Rosler. He's in one of the Formula Toyotas out there at the moment. Haven't seen this car. That car's been recently livered up. The new colour scheme as well. So the Formula Toyotas, we've got Tim Cook in the Wolf Thunder. Very distinctive sports car in there. The black sports car coming down alongside of that car I just mentioned, the Formula Toyota. Chris Stolarski, another open wheeler competitor here in South Australia, and the second of those Formula Toyotas. We've got Blake Miller in the Elfin 630B. That's the orange race car coming around turn 12. Matt Woodland's having a spin in the Formula Toyota as well. Been competing in the South Australian Formula 4 Championship. Brendan Grigol in the Lola LaRousse. And then Craig Lowndes, that might be the whole field. We've got 7 on track at the moment. So let's get them in a couple of laps, get some heat into this rubber. And we'll let them loose. Remember our overall track work record here is held by Josh Keane. In the footwork arrows at a 1:10.08. I'm not sure the track's quite warm enough to maybe get that record. There's Lowndes on spec at the moment, so he's out there in the Dallara, the F189 Cosworth V8 powered Formula One, competed in the 1989 Adelaide Grand Prix, in which was a very wet affair. I can remember it quite distinctly, that car going for a pretty distinctive spin in that particular race. It's got a long and steep history with Adelaide. Car on our camera there, car 47, that's the Elfin 630B there, Blake Miller behind the wheel. That's a much older car in this particular field. Would have competed in some of the old Formula Atlantic Series categories back in the 1970s, when the Elfin was a prime product coming out of the stables of Adelaide. Pretty quick car too in its time. So that's the car on screen at the moment, representing the Elfin badge here this weekend. So let's have a look at our times. on screen. Wait till we get a couple of laps in. It's got Brendan Grigol just behind him, and he's about to be overtaken in the Lola LaRousse. That's the 88 LaRousse. Also competed at the Adelaide Grand Prix that very same year. Wasn't a highly productive race car at the time, but a very distinctive one at that. And we've seen that car quite a few times. Competed at various other festivals. Car 4 there, Matt Rosler in the Formula Toyota on screen. These Formula Toyotas have got a new livery change. They look fantastic. I think these might have come out of maybe, these are the Taurus ones, which are the Italian-built version of the Formula Toyota. Pretty sure they'd come out of the ex-New Zealand series, of my belief. But they're a super quick race car. We've seen a bit of coverage through the week of these cars on our social media outlets. We haven't seen them here before at the Bank Classic. They look absolutely fantastic as he heads down the main straight. Matt Rosler, a long-time competitor in the Formula Ford series here in South Australia. So it's a new kettle of fish for that driver and that car. Got a car spun. Is that the Lowndes car? It was too, just come out of my camera shot. It's got a bit sideways down there on turn 7. Almost looked like he got tangled up with Brendan Grigol there in the Lola LaRousse as well. Fastest car on track as you would expect of Craig Lowndes, but he's only early stages of this sprint. What a sound. Little was screaming around this circuit. So 6 minutes into this session. This is a 15-minute session. It's the first time we've seen them all weekend. So Lowndes, not a fast one. He's got some clear track space in front of him. You can see the camera shot there, heading down towards turn 1. And around he goes. So plenty of track space in front of him. Nice clear track, so good chance to put down a decent run in. Who else has made an appearance there? See another Delara out there, but Yasser Shahin has also entered the track. Ian Eldridge is another one. You can see the black, orange and green coloured store that's come down through there as well. Another one of our motorcycle engine-powered race cars that are out there at the moment. All eyes on Formula 1 here. And Shahin has gone through at a 1:15.75. Don't think Lowndes is going to be too far away. He's had no lap traffic to contend with on this lap. He's just heading down. You can see on our camera shot there, just heading down towards turn 11. Got the 53 car. That's Matt Woodland. He's just gone past. And in he comes. So he comes down the main straight here, the big long straight here at the Bend Motorsport Park. And Craig Lowndes not quite quick enough just yet. 1:17.36. But it's just going to get better. In the next couple of laps, he gets some more heat into those tyres, more grip. It's not something that Craig's too used to in recent times. Obviously competing in the Supercar Championship. Remember, he did start his career in open wheeler racing here in Australia. So he had to take a bit of a step back in time. Not like the modern Formula 1 cars. There's no buttons on wheels or on the steering wheel or anything like that. It's all gear stick. You've got to change gears. They do have a clutch. They have everything. Just like old school race cars used to be back in that era. So you are working in that car. You are driving these cars. Keeping very active inside of that cockpit of that Delara. You see him in our vision there at the moment, just heading down towards turn 11. And turns it in. This should be a quicker time here from Lowndes. So the 13 car, the Delara Cosworth, that beautiful distinctive sound of those Cosworth V8 engines. And here he comes back down the main straight. So he has gone quicker there. So 1:15.61, but still Yasser Shahin in the best livery car, which is out there at the moment. In fact, he's in the Formula Renault car, so where is that car at the moment? Well, there it is. So currently fastest car on track. Here we go back to Seb Amadio, who's competing in the new Super 5000 car, currently third fastest, car number 22. Sheehan's got up a little bit caught up behind the Blake Miller car there as he comes through. And there he goes, he's done a 1:21, so he got caught up behind lap traffic there. It's got the Bend Classic livery on that car for this weekend. It's all been freshly wrapped up over the last week or so. Looks terrific out there. And we go back to our camera shot there. We can see our other side, car 11, turn 11, I should say. It's still Lowndes. Sheehan Amadi. Chris Zalaski's doing a terrific job. He's the first of the fastest of the Formula Toyotas out there at the moment. Tim Cook in the pits in the Wolf Thunder. Obviously some issues earlier on. So now we have the full 11 cars. In fact, the Benetton's made an appearance here. So Sam Sheehan is out there also. He's come out late. So car 12 in the distinctive blue and white Benetton. So we'll come back down. There's another car that also made his debut at the Adelaide Grand Prix back in 1998, racing that particular series. It's great to have it back here in Adelaide. Car that was actually driven by Giancarlo Fisichella back in the day. But that car was, I mentioned, the 1998 Grand Prix here in Adelaide was the first time we saw that car in that colour scheme. Very distinctive. It's all not all that long ago, only 23 years ago. Let's have a look. So Sheehan, a 1:13.26. Craig Lowndes is headed for the pits. He's done, unfortunately, so that car's headed into the pits. So Sam Amadio is still out there in the Super 5000. He's gone his quickest lap too, 1:17.58. So Amadio out there at the moment. Chris Stolarski circulating nicely in there in the Formula Toyota. Go back to the store there. Ian Eldridge, who was later out onto the track. Car on screen there, car 53, Matt Woodland. He's the slowest of the Formula Toyotas in the group, and there's a shot in pit lane. And Lowndes is out of the car. So, not too sure what the issue was, but that car has been retired earlier from this event. He won't be making a reappearance by the look of things with only 3 minutes left in this session. Cars all heading down towards on our screen there. You can see there's the mist and the heat haze out there. Looks like that's the Lola LaRousse there. Brendan Grigold behind the wheel. Another one of these Cosworth powered engines in this car. Very popular power plant in that era of motorsport. So a little Rouse heading down towards, looks like turn 3. Brendan's back in. It was his quickest time at the moment, a 1:22.36. He's a bit further down the list. These very distinctive LaRousse colours with the blue and the red and the gold. He's got Sheehan right behind him. There he is in our camera shot. That's going to hold him up quite badly. Fastest car on track on our live stream screen in the distinctive Bend Classic livery. One of the Delaras in the field. Let's have a look. Can he beat the 1:13 he did last time? And he's gone back to 1:20, obviously being held up in traffic there as well. So just winding it down the last minute and a half here of this session. High revving engine heading down the main straight here at the Bend Motorsport Park again as we wind down this session. Blake Miller on screen. He's in the oldest car on the field. He's looking at his mirrors all the time. Car 69 on track. That's Simon Hodge. Haven't seen him. He's come right at the end of the session. That's from the old Lola Formula 5000 car. That's a distinctive car too. Hopefully we get to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. We're going to run out of time today, but so now we have 12 cars. So the whole field now is on the track. I think they're all the entries that have made an appearance now. Where's that Benetton car just coming around turn 9? It's actually been held up into Sam Shaheen behind the wheel. He's actually got Brendan Grigol just in front of him. There we go. That's our camera shot at the moment. So those two Formula One cars heading down into turn 12. Yasser Shaheen, fastest car on track, 112.82. So Shaheen and Grigol side by side as they head down the main straight here at the Bend Motorsport Park. And in fact, Shaheen has gone past him in a blink of an eye there. Just trying to give him some track space. In fact, Shaheen there, 119.23, 119.23. That's Sam, of course, the Benetton we're just looking at on our camera shot at the moment. We've just lost him momentarily. Simon Hodge there just stepping aside in the Lola Formula 5000. So Brendan Grigol being chased around by, hang on, we go back to our other shot there. Well, Craig's got the helmet off, so he's called it a day. Having a nice gentle chat to all the crew down there from BRM. So we'll so how long is this session supposed to be lasting for? We might be going a little bit longer than 15 by the looks of things. Just waiting on the word. So Brendan Grigol leading him around there. Just on our camera shot, Brendan back in 8 fastest on track, the best time of 122.36. That's Chris Tulaski just behind him in the Formula Toyota, just chasing him around. He's doing a terrific job trying to just keep in touch with Brendan there. Disappear behind our bridge there. That's the 22 car. That's Seb Amadio leading that group around. He's the only one of the Super 5000s in this field. Full 5 litre V8 power plant, but on the day, just like the older version is out there. And we've got one of those as well with Simon Hodge at the wheel in the old Lola T142. So same idea, but a more modern version of that particular very iconic race car here in Australia in the Super 5000. Very distinctive colour scheme in that car as well. See, it's got the halo, all the modern safety equipment on board. So that's a car at the moment. So Seb at the moment, fastest time, 1:16.97. So he's the first of the other cars. So the two, obviously Shaheen and the Lowndes car, the fastest two. So Yasser Shaheen, his last lap was his quickest so far, 1:12.69. This is just a 3.4 kilometre circuit here on the West Circuit. Now, a car coming in here. I just picked that car that was pitting. There might have been Matt Roesler, was it, that came in? Actually, it was Ian Eldridge. So that car has been laid to rest as well. So Yasser Shaheen still leading him around in the Dallara T12. One of our all the one cars out there in a moment. He's showing him a clean pair of heels. Look how quick he enters turn 12 as he comes down. So can he beat the 1:12.6? Easily. In fact, 1:11.33, 1:11.33. So car well and truly up to temperature at the moment, and he's starting to really put down some decent sprint times here in that particular car. So the Benetton goes down the main straight here. You see in our camera shot there with Sam Shaheen behind the wheel. And he's gone second fastest. He's gone faster than Craig Lowndes on that lap. So 1:14.6. So we have a new second position on my timing screen. So the Benetton being driven by Sam Shaheen, our car on our camera shot in our screens at the moment has picked up quite a few positions and will go up into second fastest on our sprint screen. So it's just Yasser in front of him. So interesting part of this time of this sprint. Not too sure how long this session's going for, maybe 20 minutes. I haven't got the official word on it, but it looks like they're giving us some extra time. It's a beautiful looking car, that Benetton race car. And we always stood out on the track, I remember years ago, but it still looks as great as ever. It's great to see it here. Still got the original livery, the FedEx livery all over it. So can he get up towards the top of our timing screen? Let's have a look. Currently in second position, Sam Shaheen. Well, he's had no traffic around him, so clean track all the way around. And here he comes. In fact, he's headed straight for the pit. A bit of an anticlimax there as he heads back into the pit, so his time is up. So who's left? Shaheen is now in the pits. So that's Sam, of course. Yass is still out there at the moment. Kind of shot there, car 4 of Matt Rosler. So Matt Rosler, long-time competitor in the Formula 4 Championship here in South Australia. He's got some serious horsepower, a bit of a step up from the Formula 4 series. Pretty thrilled to be in this freshly livered car here this weekend. And they're a great looking race car, those Formula Toyotas. It's great to have them here and at the Bend this weekend. They're well represented. So Yasser Shaheen also has entered the pits as well. So all of our top 3 cars are finished up. So we got left at the moment. We still got Seb Amadio out there at the moment, car number 22. He's back in 1:16.39, so he's still circulating quite nicely. And there he goes. You can hear the rumble all the way down the main straight here at the Bend Motorsport Park, the 5-litre V8 of that Super 5000. It's a very distinctive sound. Chris Selasi's gone through 1:19.4, so not quite his fit. Another one of the Formula Toyotas in that group. So there's the Lola Formula 5000 car there. That's a car with a deep history as well. It's one of the first cars that Frank Garter brought out to Australia to compete in the Australian Formula 5000 series. Such a long time ago, and if you get a chance to have a look at that car on the weekend, the long list of names that are down the side of that car. Of course, originally designed by Lola designer himself, Carl Haas. He was the original driver of that particular car when it was competing as an Indy car in the USA. It's such a long time ago now. It's also a car that movie star Paul Newman also had a series in. So, man, it's got just a long list of names of drivers that have been in that particular car. It's one of the real raw, Formula 5000s back in the day. What a huge series that was back in the 1970s. Those old enough to remember it. So, car on camera there, car 53, Matt Woodland. It's another one that's stepped off from our South Australian Formula 4 Championship. He's having a steer in this Formula Toyota as well. Matt's a huge fan of open wheel racing cars. And he actually exported his McGarl for the Formula Ford series here to race in that championship here in this state. So he's put that aside for this weekend, obviously, to have a big opportunity to try something a little bit different and with more horsepower, more downforce, and all the extras that go with these Formula Toyotas. So it's really a steep learning curve for Matt this weekend. So let's have a look. 24 minutes, several laps here on our clock. So another car heading to the pits as well. Just caught the tail end of that. And might have been Brendan Grigol, was it? I just didn't quite catch who that was. So we only got just the 5 cars remaining here, giving them plenty of track time. For the motorsport fans that are eagerly watching across. So there Here's the Super 5000 there of Sebamadio going through. He did a 1:16.05 in his previous sprint lap, which happened to be his 15th lap. He's done got plenty of laps in here in this session. And just coming inside the main complex again. So it looks like Yasser Shahin has also made a reappearance. Here he comes now. So just come in momentarily. The pit's back out. Fastest car now back on track. A few drivers there in the camera there. Helmet's off. Sam Shahin's got the helmet off. Looks like he's done. Craig's had his off for quite some time. Looks like Brendan Grigol is also the other cars I did mention to come in the pits. So Shahin goes through, Yasser Shahin, so he's now on a fast lap as he goes through, and he absolutely flies past here. He's already down into turn one. So keep a close eye on that 7 car, the Ben Classic Livered car, because looks like Yasser is on a fairly serious lap here as he went down the main straight here at the bend. Ideal, this is the best track we've had all so far for today, so there's no excuses now. Matt Rosley, you can see him picture there, still on track. But we're eagerly awaiting Yasser Shahin to come back around. And it won't be too long because he's got plenty of space in front of him. So here's his big opportunity. He's just got Matt Rosler in front of him. Hopefully he can step aside. He's going to catch him down inside of this part of the track as well. So let's have a look. Maybe we can get back down in the 110s. We're about to find out. At absolutely full throttle and revs, goes past the start-finish line. He's actually done a 1:12.3. He's just got to get past Rosley here, and he'll have no one in front of him again. So plenty of track space for Shahin. So we watch him go around. Here we go. Straight in our live feed screen, you can see a bit of smoke at the back there under brakes, just down behind the tyre wall down there at turn 2. Really hurtling around here. Heading down to 6, the tight 6 and 7 complex. We can see on our screen, it's pretty much the slowest part of this circuit. And then you've got to go the other way, you've got to go right hand. 2 right-handers as you come back down into turn 10 for the left-hander. So he's had no one around him at all. Looks like he had plenty of pace as he's come back down inside of turn 12. Let's have a look this time around. And he has done it. So he's done a 1:10.99. 1:10.99. Starting to get back into some more of those record times. Let's have a look again. As I mentioned, the record time at a 1:10.08. So he's still got a little bit of work to do. Just under a second to pick it and try and get inside that record. Will we see this record broken over this weekend? Set by Josh Keane back, of course, in the Footworks Arrows. He's not competing here this weekend. Sebamadio there, that super cool looking Super 5000 with a distinctive rumbling, big beefy V8 sound in the rear of that, sitting behind the rear of that driver. You hear a rumble all the way down the long straight here when it goes down past the main complex. And he's getting quicker too. He's back in the 1:15, so in fact he's done a 1:15.5, so his fastest time was on that sprint lap. And Yasser Shahin has gone quicker again also as he just goes past us here. So 1:10.72, 1:10.72 there for Yasser Shahin. Who we got left? There's only 4 or 5 cars out there still circulating. Got a lot of blue peas in my time history and a lot of headed for the pits earlier here. Seven Mardo's interesting here because the times are coming down as well. He's actually just under a second slower than Sam Shaheen there on that last lap. So let's see if he can find a bit of extra here. Once again, another driver with plenty of track space in front of him. Not too many slower cars, so he's got a huge opportunity maybe to get up into second position in this sprint. So we'll keep following him around as we go down towards turn 11. So this is going to be the end of the session here. And down, oh, he got it a bit wrong there. Jeez, it was looking pretty good just to that point, but he just got it hooked up wrong. So he'll go through at a 1:17.2. Those last couple of corners were a bit overcorrected there, so that hurt his chances. Checkered flag's been shown here. Checkered flag's shown, so the winner of that sprint will be Yasser Shaheen in the Delara, in the Ben Delara at a 1:10.72. Let me go back to Sam Shaheen in the Benetton at 1:14.6. And Seven Mardio not far behind there either, 1:15.5. And even closer just with Craig Lowndes. All it was up at the top of our list there for a moment. It's gone back to 4 fastest in the Delara Cosworth. Then Chris Stolarski in the Formula Toyota at a 1:18.6. Tim Cook was an early retirement. You haven't seen too much of him at a 1:18.8. In the Eldridge, the store didn't get too many laps on either. Hit a 1:19.6. Then back to Matt Rosler. Brendan Grigol well down the order there, 1:22s. Matt Woodland at 1:27.5. Simon Hodges just been meandering around at a 1:35. And Blake Miller obviously in a much older car there, 1:39.6 at the bottom of the list. And the great thing about that is the full entry list on track. And that is great to see. Great to see them all on track here at the Ben Motorsport Park for the Classic for 2021. Mardio brings his car back in as well, and that will be the last part of our program here for day one. It's taken all day to get some open wheeler action here, but we finally got it done. So, and that winds it up, folks. Remember to come back tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit better as well for a full day's program. Big part of the pointy part of the program too as we get into obviously our shootouts in the afternoon and our top 10 shootout later on tomorrow afternoon. And looking forward to being a part of that as well. So some super action to come tomorrow here at the Ben Motorsport, starting from our program from 9 a.m. We do thank you for coming along, and we'll be back here for Father's Day tomorrow with our approved program starting at 9 a.m. as I just mentioned. Other than that, I'm going to close. Please drive home safely. We'll see you all back here tomorrow. My name's Mark Nankara. Have a very good afternoon.
In 150 years, everything has changed, but nothing is different. BF Goodrich built to escape the grind, the repetition, the norm, the routine. We don't build for the faint-hearted. We build for the creators, the workers, the achievers and the adventure seekers. For 150 years, BF Goodrich has been building for you. What are you building for?
Don't get the runaround with all the mechanical jargon and rigmarole. For good old South Australian service that you'll understand, head to your independent vehicle centre, Hyper Garage, at the Bend Motorsport Park, Tailem Bend. From tyres and wheels to servicing and mechanical, batteries and even body wrapping, Hyper Garage will get your vehicle on the road in its best possible condition, keeping you safe. So for Country SA service with affordable prices, head to Hyper Garage at the Bend Motorsport Park, Tailem Bend.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win 2 automotive icons: a 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, one of America's most iconic performance cars, and a new Chief Dark Horse Indian motorcycle, including up to 12 months Shannon's comprehensive car and bike insurance and roadside assist, plus $5,000 cash for eligible Shannon's Club members. To enter, get an eligible quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike, or home, or take out an eligible new policy for more chances of winning. Call Shannon's on 134646.
For 150 years, BF Goodrich has been building for you. What are you building for?